fellow woman here. Welcome to the talk.
Thank you.
It's going to be a very interesting one, I hope. We intend to talk about the Osun election. That's the recently concluded election in Osun State, Nigeria. We'll talk about the pre-election, the election, and then the post-election, the reactions thereafter, and things like that. And definitely, we can't go talking about this Ebola virus. It's almost a plague anyway, so I don't know how to say it. We're not talking about it. The interview won't be complete, so to say. So let me start with you. Of course, you're from the state, but of course you studied back in different way. So you're very conversant with both states, I would say. So maybe you can just give us your opinion on this election generally. What do you think about it?
Yeah, I think the elections were free and fair, at least to the best of our knowledge, and I also think it's a kind of triumph of good over evil. I'm not saying the elected governor and who is also the incumbent governor is a good man, or is a good man in all the sense of the word, but it's like you having Aregbesola versus Omishori, and I mean you can't just place them side by side in terms of development. You know what happened during the PDP years in Osun State, and after I left school in 2010, and yeah, it was towards that time that Aregbesola was elected, and I returned in 2013. I saw a lot of developments, and there's also this, a people without a culture. I lost people, if I can use the plural, people. He drove a kind of sense of cultural awareness with his Oluwaseun, and that is one of the things we need in Nigeria. And for someone to have started this, and I also know that presently Osun State is one of the states that is so interested in the culture and everything. So really, he may not have been the best guy, and actually, better people should actually contest. But I believe I'm happy he won.
Okay, good. Thank you for that beautiful piece of mind. So, Abiola, what's your take on the election generally, the pre-election and then the post? So to say?
Thank you so much. What interests me most in the election is the personality of Governor Aregbesola, the incumbent governor, and the person who won the election. His personality drives through from the pre-election till even the post-election. I followed the campaign. At times, this man will bring a huge crowd with buses, and at times he's going to just sit down on top of the bus, doing like this. My people, in Nigeria, governors, how governors behave. They create one paradise for themselves that is separated from the masses. But this man, in his own case, no. He tries to identify with the masses, and we shouldn't mistake that one with what this guy tried to do in Ekiti, what Fayose did in Ekiti. He was trying to identify with the people, whereas we know in terms of governance, Fayose was zero. But this Aregbesola of the man, in terms of governance, if anybody in Nigeria is going to rate him, I think he's going to score at least 9 over 10. That is, he can combine populism with good governance. That interests me so much about his governance. And even during the election, his personality is not that of a gentleman that will say, okay, we are practicing democracy, people should go and vote, everything will work. No, this is a strong man. If you think, okay, we have to shout to win election, he can shout. So his ability to combine both sides, to deliver his governance, and to, permit me to use the word radicalism, to be radical, he can combine both. And I think we need such people in Nigerian politics, because we can't just be behaving like, like fire me. We can't just be behaving like a gentleman. We are not brigands. This is Nigeria. Nigerian politics is specific. So, and we have to respond to this kind of politics. So it interests me so much about his personality. Okay. I hope we're going to have more people like him.
thank you very much on the point you made. You said something about this radical approach to campaigning and things like that. It's a very interesting factor, but it's not possible to look at it this way, that this Fayemi issue in the Ekiti State, I think that why he actually lost was because people felt he was too distant away from them. And look at the way Fayose like tried to rapport with the people and mixed up with them. And mind you, of course, talking about the Osun election, Omisore tried the same tactics. People criticized him for that, but I think I like his style, what he did. Well, people might say anything, but you just have to do it the way you have to do it, the way you think you're going to will make you win, or probably win the people. So, what's your take on Omisore's approach to campaigning, during this election period?
Thank you. I've said it. My own constituency is the people's constituency. I want good governance for the people, for the masses. But we shouldn't forget, these masses, I'm sorry to say, no political correctness here. The masses most of them are ignorant. They can be swayed away with populism. Anybody that can just come out and say, okay, I'm a man of the people, I can sit down in one corner and drink alcohol with people, I can eat roasted corn on the streets, I can identify with people. People are carried away with such people. Whether these people have anything in plan for them or not, people are carried away. So for me, what Omisore was doing was just playing to the gallery. We know the man's antecedent. He was a deputy governor. He was impeached. We all know, though the Nigerian court said he's not guilty about the assassination of Bola Ige. But we all know. We all know it's
actually a very controversial issue.
We know. But his personality is just zero. He's a radical as a talk. That's my opinion. That might not be true, but that's what I think about him. So for me, playing to the gallery, it doesn't make any sense. But for Aregbesola to do that, since I know he can deliver in governance, and this is what people like, why shouldn't he do it? He understood the politics and he played it. So for me, it's not a big issue.
And actually, there are practical results to see, from what Aregbesola did in his first
obviously.
So I think I agree with that.
Let me bring in something. I was shocked. I saw a documentary about this Aregbesola of a person. Wole Soyinka is like my icon. I try to emulate him, and I have followed his lifestyle. He has never campaigned for any politician in his lifetime. But in the case of Aregbesola, he did. He did. So I was shocked. Which means this man's performance is above board.
Yeah, so definitely when a Nobel laureate can come out and speak in support of a particular candidate, then we know, this guy
is not a very
to win.
Yes.
Good. Thank you for that point. Let me come back to you, Tanimomo. Now, I just spoke with Abiola concerning Omisore's approach to campaign and things like that. There was a particular video I watched of Aregbesola campaign. It reminded me of this election campaign of the 60s. I mean, when it was very toxic and very dangerous to be a politician. It's still very much dangerous in the middle of the politicians now, but back then, much dangerous. And this election was, this campaign of Aregbesola was a very toxic one indeed, where I used some very strong words and which I would normally would expect from him. I don't know why it was that way. So we can talk about Omisore playing to the gallery, but what's your take on Aregbesola's approach to campaigning during this election I just finished?
Well, actually, he did what he needed to do. He's a politician first, and we shouldn't forget that after the June election in Ekiti, APC had learned their lessons. And also, most times when we talk about elections in Ekiti, one class which we refused to, maybe because most of the middle class group fall under that group, but one class we refuse to acknowledge their impact or their power is the class of civil servants. Now in Ekiti, the civil servants didn't, we were falling out with the man, or the man was falling out with the civil servants. He was too gentle, as he said. Now this is Aregbesola
during the Ekiti election, there were military men in Ekiti, and a repeat of that was going to happen in Osun State. You can't make somewhere clean without dirtying your hands. He needed to do what he needed to do. He needed to dirty his hands and get the job done. I mean, if he didn't win, the same if I didn't win, all this you are saying about his goodness will just be in vain. So he needed to match his dirtiness with, or his thuggery, because really he displayed some thuggish.
I think that's
he displayed some thuggish attributes during the election. But the fact is, at this stage in Nigeria, today I was still talking with some people that really, what if democracy is not the right system of government for us at this point in time because of the bureaucratic nature? There's the north, there's the south, there's the north, there's the north central,
so
there's the south. So really, at the point exactly, you need that thuggish attributes, and you use this thuggish attributes. And really, if I would rate his performance as a governor, I may not rate him above 41% or something. But at least for Nigeria that we've seen, from what we've seen from PDP, he has done something. So I think he employed a tactic that works for him, and I'm happy the tactics won anyway.
Good, thank you. But now let's be sincere. Basically, if of course, he's the incumbent, Abiola is the incumbent, but if it were to be a different party, take for instance, this Gani Fireman's party,
National Conscience Party,
NCP, if the opposing, the challengers were from any of these, unknown parties, I don't think Abiola approach would have been this very strong and so toxic. So really, I would think the PDP must actually be also a tool, a good tool in our political terrain, because he saw, if he didn't really come out to really campaign the way he did, he might eventually lose. So in a way, when people saw Mishori probably as a bad choice, or a bad candidate at all for the state, for Osun State, but in a way, I think there are some benefit to it, to at least to our democracy, with the way things are done. What's your take?
Yeah, I quite agree with you that if the opponent were to be a weak candidate from a small political party that has no force, no federal might like that of PDP, Abiola might have just gone to sleep. And even in terms of governance, he might have gone to sleep again. Yeah, I quite agree with you. If there are two strong, almost equal forces, there will be balance of power. And it's very good for our democracy and for our governance. I quite agree with you.
Okay. Thank you on that. Now, coming to the election day, it's actually Nigerian democracy. It's one unique one. We have to say that it's one very, very unique one. Now, coming to the election day, of course, thank God for the internet. Like we have timely updates. People are updating from time to time, and then we followed it. So that's just the basic fact. There are some arrests. I mean, of course, the state was militarized. There were arrests, and things like that. So it was like an election day, but it was more or less like a war, so to say. So, and at the end of the day, of course, eventually he won. But people would say, if PDP had won, of course, we would definitely say it was big and this and that. So now, trying to militarize the state during the election, and then the brutality and what have you, the security forces and things like that. So, what can you say to this election of militarization, so to say?
Actually, if the army officials that were deployed to Osun were deployed to Chibok when they kidnapped our girls, maybe they wouldn't have stayed down there.
That's interesting.
If there was no state of emergency in Osun, there were no martial laws or whatever. So why should